All right, happy Sunday, guys. A couple things to talk about. Veganism, not good for athletes. We'll talk about that a little more. First, a quick little success story. This came from somebody on Instagram. Didn't expect a response. Thanks for that, and also thanks so much for the content you create. I was a vegan for 2+ years, and I ruined my gut flora. Was anemic and pre-diabetic. I did research, and you're one of the people, along with my doctor, who led me back to animal products. Steak literally saved my gut and life. I'm down 22 pounds, no longer pre-diabetic. Depression has subsided, and my anxiety is drastically lower. Your content helped me a lot with my journey. Thank you, and keep up the great work. You're definitely helping a lot of us. There's Maximus and Sasha out there deciding if they want to be pets or non-human sentient creatures in the background. All right, little training stuff from yesterday. This is me doing box jumps, holding 160 pounds, 80 pounds in each arm, exploding up there like a big cat that's just got a kill in his mouth, right? Like a big leopard jumping up a tree. Follow that with some explosive high box squats, 315 pounds, just trying to move the bar as fast as possible. And then finishing out with just 10-second sprints on the Airdyne bike as hard as possible. 15, it's an Airdyne X, 15 calories in 10 seconds. Hauling ass, man. Performance is great right now, guys. I'm doing great. I'm killing it at 53, hitting all-time records on rowing. So meat definitely seems to keep you going, while I'm in here killing it on the rower and getting stronger and faster and leaner and feeling better. Joel Kahn's in there looking for more Grecian formula to dye his hair and worried about what bone's going to break next. Anyway. All right, let's talk a little bit about cholesterol, or saturated fat, rather. So this is a study. The dietary intake of saturated fatty acids and mortality from the cardiovascular disease in Japan, the Japan Collaborative Cohort Study for Evaluation of Cancer Risk, the JACC study, 2010. All right, in that study, they found that looking at the results, people that had the highest saturated fat intake had the lowest risk for stroke of several types. They also saw that there was no increased risk of cardiovascular disease in people with the highest saturated fat intake. So what does this say? This shows you that outside of Western populations, where you have fat junk food eating people, when you have healthy people that take care of themselves, that stay lean, that exercise, that don't have excess weight, saturated fat seems to have no negative effect. In fact, it has a positive effect on health. Right? This is epidemiology, of course. Epidemiology has many, many limitations, but that is the hypothesis that you could potentially draw from that particular study. And one of the, intraparenchymal hemorrhage with a relative risk of 0.48 puts us within that Bradford Hill criteria of possibly being causal. So we have to look at that, okay? No association is probably more powerful than a weak positive association. Is saying this thing does not seem to have an effect. All right, let's go on to, let's talk a little bit about cholesterol and infection, because there's a little thing called the coronavirus, which, the vegans are, it's all about the animals, right? So the problem with viruses and infections in general, it's not animals so much to say. It's just people living close together, people clustered in cities, people stuffed on trains, people stuffed on airplanes, people stuffed in office buildings. It's not how we're supposed to live. We got all these people clustering in the cities. That's the problem with communicable diseases. We're just in too much proximity to each other. But if we're going to protect ourselves from disease, it's very interesting to note that higher cholesterol levels tend to protect from infectious diseases. So eat a lot of animal products. Let's look a little bit about this study. It came out in 2003. Ravenscoff is a primary author. He is a cholesterol denier guy, so a lot of people dismiss that. But the evidence that he cites is there. It's been multiple studies that show this. So some of the lab evidence, lipopolysaccharide or an endotoxin, the main pathogenic factor of gram-negative bacteria bind rapidly to lipoproteins, mainly LDL, and lipoprotein-bound endotoxin is unable to activate the secretion of various cytokines by monocytes in vitro. Also, Staphylococcus aureus, alpha toxin, a toxin produced by most pathogenic Staphylococcus, contains strain causing damage to a wide variety of cells, is bound and almost totally inactivated by human serum and purified LDL, as estimated by hemolytic titration. So the LDL basically knocks out the toxins, guys. Well, epidemiologic study, there's a bunch of these. This paper has a whole bunch of these. But in this study of 2,446 unmarried men with a previous history of a sexually transmitted disease or liver disease followed for 14 years, a multivariate adjusted analysis shows a risk ratio for HIV infection of 1.66 in the lowest cholesterol quartile compared to the risk of the second quartile. That the low total cholesterol with secondary to HIV is unlikely. This would be the reverse causality hypothesis, because those who became HIV positive during the first 4 years were excluded from the calculations. In accordance, an inverse association between total cholesterol and the risk of death from AIDS was found in follow-up of the Mr. Fit screenings. So, number of cases show that people that have higher cholesterol seem to be protected from disease. All right, little video here. Let's watch this. Okay, so Karolina Kowalkiewicz, UFC fighter, 14th ranked in the world, three fight losing streak, I believe. It's declining. She's a vegetarian. Apparently has an autoimmune disease. I think it's maybe Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Decides to go vegan to help things out. She got clobbered, weaker, slower, not on her original form. Again, people will say, oh, it's not due to diet. Diet has nothing to do with performance. Bullshit. Diet has a lot to do with performance. Now, obviously, different skill levels are going to make a difference, right? A non-fighter versus a fighter is going to win regardless of diet. But you're an idiot if you don't believe that diet impacts that. A vegan diet is a moronic move for almost any athlete, guys. Okay? We just saw a study out there, a screening of 10 patients that went on a vegan diet. All of them lost muscle. When you're losing weight, losing a bunch of muscle is never a good strategy, right? When you lose muscle, you get weaker, you get slower, you get less explosive, all right? This is not a good combination for athletic performance, okay? Don't be fooled by friggin' the Beyond Meat CEO or the Impossible Burger CEO, Patrick Brown and Ethan Brown. Those guys couldn't give a flying fuck about you. They don't care about your health. They don't care about your athletic performance. All they care about is what's in your wallet, guys. Okay? Don't be fooled by these people. All right. John Jones, I don't know. He's out there shooting his arrow. Is he reconsidering after he won his fight? Not to take anything from away from Reyes. Who did a wonderful job, but I think John is seeing that occur. Now, some people say it's because he's off his drugs. I think going mostly plant-based is not helpful. Not helpful, guys. All right. I think we're going to see a big shift in more UFC guys eating a lot more meat. I have some sort of interesting insight into that, but we'll talk about that later. All right, you guys have a great day. I've got to go meet with Craig Emmerich on the MeterX platform. Happening in a few minutes. You guys take care, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.